Greetings and welcome. My name is Jim Prues, and I'm the founder of World 5.0. Life is this moment. It consists of two elemental forces, awareness and energy. And they exist together only in this moment. This is reality, folks, and it exists nowhere else in time. But first, let's get to this whole World 5.0 operating system idea. We've had four previous ages, four previous cultural operating systems, based on the available technology of the time. In our first age, World 1, we were Neolithic, hunters and gatherers. We started using implements to farm, and we figured out how to grow any number of things. Hemp was the first plant cultivated by our ancestors. Implements were the enabling technology of World 2. Depending on where you are in the world, maybe about 1,000 years ago, we migrated to the medieval age, or World 3. And oh my, the colonialism. Once the Europeans learned to make guns, there was no stopping them. History teaches that the English were the most successful, creating many of today's nation states with its far-flung empire. But colonialism ran into the fourth age as well, the industrial age. Engines allowed for a great concentration of power. Steamships, automobiles, trains and airplanes, not to mention all the industrial processes enabled by engine power. So what's wrong? Pretty much everything. How about this business of building a pipeline to ship tar sands oil from northern Canada, some of this yuckiest oil out there, to Oklahoma and Texas for refining? How can we even consider more oil? More oil pipelines. This year we've had tremendous disasters. Fukushima meltdowns, wildfires, flooding and hurricanes, climate change. It's already disastrous, and for more and more folks, it's becoming cataclysmic. And energy conglomerates, they want a new leaky pipeline, and they've paid our government enough to pretend that this is a good idea. We know it's not. And this is just one pipeline, one place, and one industry. We've got a lot more stupid than that going on. How about food? We spray a bunch of chemicals to kill weeds and bugs on our food and genetically modify their genes so that they're immune to the chemical bath. What could go wrong? For starters, GM corn may be immune to glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup, which is the most popular chemical for that. But we are not, nor are the farm workers who are so often sick from it. And because agribiz practices kill the soil, each year means more chemicals, more fertilizer, and less topsoil to do the same job. And for me personally, the biggest what's wrong with life on Earth right now? War. War and violence. Sucks. Right now, people are blowing each other up with guns, drones, bombs, rockets, whatever else they can find to destroy each other. And it's because our culture generates so much fear and hate. And why? Bullshit. Bullshit is always at the heart of war. In 2010, last year, $1.22 trillion was spent on war and armaments. That's 76% of the total expenditures last year on this planet. And the United States, at about $700 billion, spends more than all the other countries combined. Think about that. It's crazy. So, if we're spending 75% of the world's money blowing shit up, we're just crazy. This is literally insane. We wouldn't do that. None of us would. But our lousy government does. And contrary to Ronald Reagan's famous claim that government is the problem, government is the solution. Bad government is the problem.
We, the people of Earth, in light of the three truths, do ordain and engender World 5.0.
I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. The sun shining over my shoulder, wind blows so fiercely.
Alrighty, now I would like to talk about the core of World 5.0. The three truths of happiness. They're not that complicated, but they can seem foreign when we've grown up in such a dysfunctional and corrupt and confused world. First, life is this moment. It consists of eternal awareness and this constant flux of energy. We live here. We know that awareness exists as an elemental force because we are aware. Life is aware. Yet awareness by itself is still. It is peace. It is our quiet center. Clearly, energy, this constantly evolving energy, is the other half of life. So awareness and energy, together. This is the great Tao. The second truth is simple as well. Here, of prime concern is how we use our intent, fear or love. So our intent is what makes us uniquely us. Its traditional name is the soul. And it is our intent that we must leverage to shake off the old bonds of fear that have left us broken. Because at the heart of it all, our intent is constantly deciding between love and fear. There are no other options. Now, our ego will argue otherwise. Count on it. The ego, the home of fear within us, does not let go easily. It's sort of the out-of-control computer within us. It can't stop processing, can't stop churning thoughts, can't stop with the bubble. But if we're consistent in our efforts, sooner or later, we will choose to let go, to forgive whatever bothers us, so that we can stand here in this moment at peace. And the third truth, only love makes us happy. So these are the three truths. This is the learning that teaches us that the only real freedom is freedom from fear. Pretty simple stuff. Now, to be happy, we have to take care of business. We have to keep our word. We have to have integrity. You'll never find peace in lying or stealing or somehow abusing another. You find peace through integrity, through letting go of fear, and enjoying life in this moment. Pretty simple stuff. But it's just that if we don't fix ourselves, we can well imagine that any fixing we do to our culture will soon enough again turn to corruption. And we don't want that anymore. But even now, there are signs of hope and health as well. We're changing our relationship with food. We're learning that a happy meal just isn't so happy. We have to treat our bodies better if we want them to treat us better. Urban and vertical gardens are upending old beliefs about how to grow food. Grocers are carrying organic food in record amounts. But the biggest thing is we're becoming much more conscious of our relationship with food. We share life with our food. Growing food is not best left to multinational corporations who only care about profit. We're changing our relationship with energy too. In World 5, we no longer want to just buy energy. We want to be involved in its production, however we may. We want little windmills and solar panels all over the place. Indeed, Wherever we look at the ills and issues we face today, we see government at the center of the problem. War, economic disparity, corporate welfare, voter discrimination and fraud, fraudulent media, ecological ruin, all point to the same thing: bad government. We know what bad government looks like. We've been under it all our lives. But what about good government? Good government is aware of its obligation of stewardship. It exists to serve. It balances community and commerce. It establishes fair laws, and it returns a fine ROI on our tax investment. Now, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? Sounds out of this world, which only goes to show how screwed up our government and our system is right now. Now, here's a few practical things we can do to implement World 5 right from the top. For starters, spend your money locally. Don't give it to Walmart when you could be spending it with a local hardware store or grocer or retailer. Don't support McDonald's when you could dine with friends at a local restaurant. Don't put your investments in the same Wall Street that's screwing us. Put them in local credit unions, socially responsible investments. Next, we have to engage in our communities. It's only when we engage in civic activity that we can begin to restore so much that is broken in our local communities. Food co-ops, local energy initiatives, fix-ups, picnics, street fairs. This is not only good for community, it's good for us. It feels good. And we've got to vote. And here's a wonderful idea. We now initiate World 5 Certified. World 5 certification is open to any person, business, nonprofit, or government that honors the principles of World 5.0. Plumbers, roofers, auto mechanics, physicians. Wouldn't it be great if we knew they could be trusted to do the right thing? Not necessarily the thing that brings the most profit. This is where we're going, folks. This is World 5.0.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead.
So we feel good, right? We feel just standing right now in this moment, right? Well, friends, this feeling doesn't have to end. The peace and love of this moment are constant. This never leaves. It's just that we leave this. So when you leave here today, meaning the rally, not this reality, don't go back to the same old patterns. For far too many of us, our lives are in shambles. We've broken ourselves into a million little pieces, all disconnected. We're scared shitless. We're stressed out. We live in a bubble. We don't know who we are. Understand that the power of your intent on your life is absolute. Turn off the computer brain. Let the thoughts bubble up naturally. Breathe. The time is always now. The answer is always love. And indeed, that's why we're here, to inaugurate World 5.0 and the birth of this movement. We love, we live in peace, we move from here. Welcome to World 5.0. Yo!
Make one